Clement the Bear Cub and a Mountain Rescue Tale. In the heart of the whispering woods, where the rivers glistened like silver and pine trees touched the sky, lived a curious and kind-hearted bear cub named Clement. With fur the colour of cocoa and eyes full of wonder, Clement was known far and wide for his courage and loyalty. He spent his days exploring, helping his animal neighbours, and dreaming of grand adventures. One crisp autumn morning, Clement was playing near the northern stream when Elder Owl flew down in a rush, wings fluttering with urgency. "Clement!" Elder Owl hooted, his voice trembling. "Terrible news! Your friends, Maple the red squirrel, Tilly the mountain goat, and Pip the raccoon, have gone missing." Clement's heart skipped a beat. "Missing? Where?" "The ice-clad mountain," said Owl, landing on a low branch. "They set off 3 days ago to see the glimmering caves, led by Tilly, who thought she remembered the path. But the mountain is treacherous this time of year. A snowstorm hit unexpectedly, and no one has seen them since." Clement's chest tightened. The ice-clad mountain was known for its biting winds and maze-like trails. "Why would they go there without telling me?" Owl blinked solemnly. "They didn't want to worry you. Tilly insisted they'd be back the same day." Without a second thought, Clement nodded with determination. "Then I'll go find them." "Wait," said Owl, flapping his wings. "It's not just bravery you'll need. Climbing that mountain requires knowledge of the paths, weather, shelter, and how to survive the cold. You must be prepared." So Elder Owl introduced Clement to a wise old marmot named Thistle, who had climbed the ice-clad mountain in his younger years. For the next 2 days, Clement learned everything: how to read snow for signs of movement, how to build wind shelters from pine boughs, and how to recognize the caves from the air patterns near their entrances. He packed dried berries, nuts, a map Thistle had drawn, and even tied a small scarf around his neck, a gift from his mama bear for warmth. When the dawn painted the forest in soft pinks and golds, the trees stood quiet under their blanket of snow, and the world felt hushed, as if holding its breath. Clement, wrapped snugly in his yellow scarf, gazed toward the horizon where the mountain loomed. Its white-capped peaks shimmered in the early light, catching the sun like diamonds scattered against the pale blue sky. He took a deep breath, filling his lungs with the crisp morning air, then stepped forward. Today, he would find his friends. The first part of the climb was gentler than he'd imagined. Snow crunched softly under his paws as he padded through frosty underbrush and around sleeping trees. He soon spotted the signs he'd been hoping for: faint tracks in the snow, tiny paw prints, the light dash of claws, and the distinct scrape of hooves. "They passed this way," he whispered to himself, heart swelling with hope. Higher up, the landscape grew starker. Pines thinned into crooked, wind-worn trunks. The snow grew deeper, glittering coldly beneath a sky that was no longer golden, but steel grey. By midday, the wind had picked up, a low whistle through the rocks, rising and falling like a distant voice calling. Clement pulled his scarf tighter and trudged on, ears flattened against the cold. He came upon a small hollow tucked behind a jagged ledge, a narrow shelter half hidden by wind-blown drifts. Grateful, he ducked inside and rested his aching legs. From his pack, he pulled out a handful of dried berries and chewed slowly, staring out at the darkening sky. The sun was already dipping low, staining the clouds orange and violet. Far above, the mountain's peak vanished behind a swirl of mist. Snow began to fall again, fine and fast. A storm was coming. Clement leaned against the rock wall, heart beating steadily. He wasn't afraid, not yet. He'd come this far. And somewhere ahead, his friends were waiting. Remembering Thistle's teachings, Clement dug a shallow snow den and lined it with branches. He curled up, whispering, "Please be safe, Maple. Hang on, Pip. I'm coming, Tilly." The storm howled all night, but Clement stayed warm and dry. At first light he climbed higher, careful of ice patches and loose rocks. Then he saw something. Shredded bark on a tree, high up where only a goat could reach. "Tilly," he breathed. Further on, he found a shiny button half buried in snow, Pip's favourite trinket. Clement's hope swelled. He followed the trail until he reached a steep slope with strange shapes along the side. A landslide. Ice and rocks had crashed down days ago. He scanned the area and noticed something odd, broken twigs sticking out near a boulder. Digging furiously, Clement uncovered a small entrance, a hidden cave. Inside, the dim light flickered on 3 huddled figures. "Clement!" Maple squeaked, leaping into his arms. Tilly blinked in disbelief. "You came all this way?" Pip was pale, his leg wrapped in a cloth. "We took the wrong turn after the storm hit. Then Pip slipped and hurt his leg. We sheltered here and hoped someone would come." Clement fought tears. "I had to come. You're my family." The next challenge was getting everyone home. Clement crafted a sled from fallen branches, tying it with strips of bark. Tilly helped pull while Maple scouted ahead. With Clement's guidance, they avoided the dangerous paths and used the snow dens he had made earlier for shelter. 3 days later, as the forest came into view, the group cheered. Elder Owl swooped down in joy, and Mama Bear raced out to hug Clement, tears streaming down her furry cheeks. "You saved them," she whispered. "You brought them home." That night, the animals of the forest gathered under the stars. They feasted and danced, celebrating the courage of one small bear cub who dared to climb a mountain not for glory, but for love. And from that day forward, whenever a young animal asked about bravery, Elder Owl would smile and say, "Let me tell you the story of Clement the bear cub, who conquered the ice-clad mountain,